Let the past be the past is one of the hardest things to do. We all know we need to let things go, but they continue to affect us.
Our next guest author, Kellie Fitzgerald, says we need to stop sabotaging ourselves with the past and let go of the trash. Is that right?
That is right. You got it.
Now, can you tell us, you have written a book all about this, letting
Right.
go of the past. Can you tell us the name of the book and how you got that name?
It's called When on the Road to Enlightenment, Don't Forget to Take Out the Trash. And what that is referring to is inside all of us, we have these little seeds of greatness. And so often we sabotage ourselves with the, well, that's never worked before, or I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that, instead of just letting go of those past. I don't like the word failures, I call them lessons, because as long as you've learned something, it's not a bad thing.
And I completely believe in that same mindset. But all of us are affected by things that have happened in the past.
Right.
And you say let it go, and it's easy to say let it go, and we think maybe we have let it go until we're in another situation where it brings up either that painful emotion or what someone has said, and you've resorted back to that. So how do you really tell yourself to let it go and to believe that?
Baby steps.
Okay.
One of the things that people do is they don't realize they haven't really let something go. When you keep revisiting in your mind the same things, the same, I can't do that, that's never worked before, you need to take a look, oh, but that's wrong, but I can do that. That was in the past. And once you realize that that's what you're doing to yourself, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with the I can't, that's never worked before. You can say, well, that was then, this is now, I have learned that lesson, and I can now move past it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your story? I read on the back of your book you've learned some life lessons
Yes.
as well.
Yes, I have. I didn't have an idyllic childhood, and I became a mother very, very, very young. And I ended up in an abusive relationship because of that. And when I got out of that, I got sick. So my life was a progression of one thing after another after another. And I finally got to the point where I can't do this anymore. You know, if I'm going to stay on this planet, I'm going to have to change, you know, because right now I really don't want to be here. And it just took getting to that point where I was just on a merry-go-round, and it was not a pleasant merry-go-round to be on. So I just started telling myself that was then step forward. And even if you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, you are still going in the right direction. So that's the most important thing I think for people to take from it, is if I can get through it, anybody can get through it. Absolutely anybody can get through it.
And what does it take to write a book?
A lot of patience. It's a process. I actually tell people I thought about the book for about 10 years.
Okay.
And I sat down and wrote it in about 2 months.
Wow.
So it just took me longer to talk myself into writing the book and that I could write the book than it took me to do the book.
Isn't that amazing how that happens? And then within 2 months,
Yeah.
you've created something amazing.
Yeah, it just, you just have to download it from your brain. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It was
Into
just a
your
download. Yeah.
Now, you're a life coach, so you've probably heard a lot of people's stories, and you know you have your own to look at. Are you planning on writing any more books in this genre, or any books at all?
Yes. The next one I'm actually already working on. It will deal mostly with the stigmatisms of dealing with mental health issues, depression or anxiety issues. I touch on it in this book, and I think it's a subject that really needs some more light, you know, to be shed on it.
Besides your own experiences, where does a lot of your passion come from? Besides what you've already mentioned.
Helping people. You see the light bulb go on. I've done workshops with people, and you see when you connect.
Right.
And it is an incredible experience. And you know, I told my husband, it's almost become like an addiction to me. It's like you see it the first time, and it's like, wow, that felt amazing. I really helped this person. Who else can I help? And that's where I draw from, is from other people.
Well, speaking of helping others, do you have any advice for the viewers out there that are thinking of writing any books?
Right.
Right, just write.
On my days when I really didn't feel like writing, I would say 15 minutes. Just sit down and write whatever comes to your mind for 15 minutes, and that's all I did. And by the end of the first week of doing 15 minutes a day, I was writing 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, you have to have a discipline to sit down and do it. And don't listen to what anybody else says. You know, write for yourself first. And if you write from yourself first and come from your heart, other people will connect to it. That's what I have found.
Well, Kellie, thank you so much for introducing us to your book, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. If you'd like to pick up a copy of Kellie's book, When the Road to Enlightenment, don't forget to take out the trash. Search for it on Amazon.com.
Coming up, an event this weekend addresses the needs of family wellness for Native Americans. Find out all about it when we come back.